What's going on YouTube? So finding a car with good space and a good price nowadays is quite the task, but there are some options. Like this 2025 Kia Soul, which starts at $20,000 and certainly has a lot to offer. So is this an affordable crossover pick for you? Well, let's go ahead and find out. All right, let's begin things under the hood. It's very simple. You just have one option. It's a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine making 147 horsepower. That's paired to a continuously variable transmission, and the combined fuel economy comes in at 30 mpg.
Now, it starts at a very attractive price of $20,400 this year, and if you're looking to buy a Kia Soul or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes to secure the best price. Now, also, we're going to be taking this out in a spin later on to show you what the powertrain is like. While we're on that spin, we'll get things like our sound level reading, and then after that, discuss resale and reliability.
But let's go ahead and close up the hood, which is held by struts, by the way, and we'll check out the exterior and the interior. Now, as far as the exterior design is concerned, I really don't need any explanation. You already know what a Soul looks like. It's got its signature vibe. It's been like that from the very beginning, and that does continue on for 2025. You got that boxy front end with a large grille down here on the lower part. There's going to be some different finishes. We have this kind of checkered silver trim going throughout. This actually is a new model for 2025, so this is called the Soulmate Special Edition. Get it? It's pretty funny, but overall, there's a few different changes. Most of them are not really related to the front. We'll get to those in just a minute. Now, as far as your lighting is concerned, you're not going to have LED lighting unless you go for the very top model. Also, you're not going to get fog lights. Now, of course, when we look at the back of the Kia Soul, it's got that Soul look. It looks like nothing else on the road, really.
Yeah, very boxy, but very unique as well. Now, as far as some of the design touches, of course, we have a lot of the two-tone elements kind of sweeping into the tailgate itself. We have a wiper right here, and Drew hopped inside so we can see if all the taillight elements are LED. We do have an incandescent brake light, incandescent turn signal, and incandescent reverse light. So none of the elements are LED on this version. However, you can get that optionally on the GT line trim level. Also, on the GT line trim level, you'll get center-mounted exhaust outlets, but for just most of the Soul lineup, it will just be this black and gray finish.
Now, moving on to the wheels, as you'd expect for an affordable model, you are going to start out with 16-inch wheels. However, on this example, we have the 18-inch alloy option. Nice contrast design here with the gray finish. I think it really looks nice. With the surf blue, this is a very bold color choice. You've got the gloss black finish for the mirrors, and these do have blind spot monitoring.
Now, at the side, it has that very boxy shape you've grown accustomed to, and as far as design elements are concerned, you probably have already seen it, but we have a two-tone roof combination. That is part of that Soulmate package. It gives you this black roof. I think it looks really fantastic. Just be aware it does delete your moonroof, so if you want the wind blowing through your hair, you cannot get that package. Now, as far as your safety systems are concerned, Kia is going to give you 3 out of 4 active safety features as standard equipment. If you want adaptive cruise control, you will have to option that on to the very top-end GT line model. But I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with what you get on the inside for the money, so let's dive into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then, we've reviewed over 2,000 cars at every price point.
And if you want to know about all the latest and greatest rides, then make sure to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the newest cars. Right, now let's move to the value-packed cabin. First, here's our key fob. This is Kia's typical key fob. One really noteworthy thing is the fact that Smart Entry and Remote Start are on all but the base LX trim, so that's certainly nice to see at this price point. That means you can get inside by just pressing that black button there. And then check out this interior. So what you're looking at is actually a special feature of the Soulmate's package. We have the umber interior color option. And as you look at this, you can see that this is mostly a leatherette on the outside edge. You have a cloth in the same matching color that runs through the center with a nice texture. Overall, the seats themselves are quite comfortable. All but the base trim will also come with a power adjusting seat and two-way lumbar support. Well, let's go ahead and get inside. Now, in addition to the seats, Kia has color matched the armrest with the leatherette across it and the plastic that goes around the hand grab. I like that detail. It kind of classes up the interior. And then the rest of the cabin has really surprisingly nice materials. We have soft touch plastic through the center and the top part. All of the dashboard is finished in a soft touch plastic. You have some piano black that goes around our vents there and some detailing on the door trim. Piano black down through here. Obviously, it's not going to be padded or anything, but it is nice and solid feeling. And we'll fire it up with the push button start located right here next to the shifter. Now let's jump into some individual details of the interior. First off, we've got this fully digital gauge cluster that's partially reconfigurable. So just the center section is where you can change the information. The rest of it's just kind of a graphical text, but overall still very premium for the price point. And then as we move back to the steering wheel, you're going to find the leatherette wrapping on the wheel. They have kind of unique circular buttons, different from the other Kias in the lineup, giving it a little bit more character. And then the wheel itself is manual tilt and telescoping. Now, as far as interior storage, this fits into the subcompact category, but I think you'll be satisfied with how much space you have, including in our center console. So we like to do the donut test, of course, check the volume, and inside of here we have 9 donuts. It doesn't quite hit the dozen required to pass the donut test, but it's really good performance for this vehicle class. Now, you've got a couple cup holders in front of that, a nice large storage bin right through here, and then this is a feature I was surprised to see. Wireless phone charging is actually included on all but the base model. Taking a look at the shifter, nice traditional style. Pull back for drive, bump over here to the left if you want to go through some simulated gear changes. And then as we go into reverse, here's our standard backup camera. Resolution is fine for this type of vehicle. It does have active trajectory as well as the parking lines. You do have the kind of old school handbrake. That's not a big deal, of course. And then next to that, you've got your heated seats. As you can see, we have 2 stages here on this Soulmate's edition. Coming up to the climate controls, dual zone automatic climate's actually on most models. Nice and simple to adjust the temperature right through there, and you have physical controls for things such as your fan speed. You also get physical controls for the audio system as well. Now, one of the cool things about this special edition is that it brings down the Harman Kardon audio system from the top trim level to a little bit of a more affordable price point for 2025. Let's give that a sample right now. I have to say, I'm pretty darn impressed by this sound system. I'm going to give this the award for probably the best sound system that I've ever heard in a vehicle that's in the 20,000s. I mean, this can be in the mid-20s, which is kind of crazy. Plus, you even get the sound mood lamp, which basically kind of matches your interior color with the ambient lighting to the music that's playing, and you can make that adjustment right through there. It's kind of a clever thing with different types of patterns as well. Now, we're already clicking into the main infotainment system, so let's talk about that. You do have a smaller display on the base model. However, this is the 10.25-inch display. This does have Kia's infotainment system. It's not the newest CCNC, but it's still pretty modern. One of the things that will be missing compared to the latest and greatest is just that you have to use a wire to connect to your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. That being said, you still have a built-in navigation system right there. Up top, we've got the auto-dimming mirror. And then Mason was already talking about this, but the Soulmate Special Edition does delete the sunroof, but that is offered on other versions.
But now let's talk about the rear seats in the Kia Soul. That's honestly one of my favorite things about this model, is because it has such a boxy design on the outside, that means that you actually have quite a spacious rear seats, and as you'll see later on, cargo area. But let's go ahead and talk about the rear seat space first. We're sitting at 39 inches of legroom, 39.5 inches, almost 40 inches of headroom. Those are incredibly good figures for this subcompact SUV segment. Of course, we can measure it with our official Car Confections ruler and see how much space is behind Drew's 5'8" driving position. I am 5'9" for reference, and I'm still looking at 7 inches of additional knee room. That is really quite nice. Also, my feet can easily slide up underneath of the seat. Now, the seats themselves do not recline, so just be aware of that. This is going to be the only configuration. However, I'm happy to tell you that you have a fold-down center armrest with 2 cup holders inside. If you're looking to haul around a big Stanley water bottle, it actually is big enough to fit that inside. The seats themselves are also decently soft. Now, as far as other features you might be curious about, we do not have vents. However, we do have 2 charging USB ports. That's another nice feature to find at this price point. And then let's take a look at the door trim. Now, it is cheaper than in the front. It's going to be a hard touch pretty much through most of it. However, our armrest portion is nicely padded, and we also have a bit of bottle storage. Walking up to the tailgate, it is going to be a manual setup across the entire range. And as far as the space is concerned, I'm very happy to tell you that you have quite a lot of it. As I just insinuated earlier, the boxy shape really helps this to have a lot of practicality. 24 cubic feet behind the second row of seats. I can easily fold these seats down, and by I mean easily, you could be like 4 foot tall and easily fold these seats down, which is quite nice. They fold 60-40 split. That will reveal 62 cubic feet as your maximum cargo capacity. Now, if you want to know how that compares to all the other subcompact SUVs you might be cross-shopping with, this is a massively large segment. We'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/vehicle rankings. Now, the reason you'd go to our website and do all of that is because we have gone through all of the numerous subcompact SUVs, and we've ranked them in individual categories that might matter more to you. So if you want the best cargo capacity, the best technology, the best driving dynamics, the best powertrain experience, and so on, you can find that all at carconfections.com/vehicle rankings. It really helps you to narrow down your options in this very big segment. Now, coming back to the Kia Soul, that's a very good cargo capacity for this segment. We also have a built-in cargo cover. And let's go ahead and get our cargo length, width, and height figures. So from behind Drew's 5'8" driving position, we are looking at 60 inches of cargo length. That's going to be a little bit less than some of the other options you could get. From behind the second row, 25 inches of length. Overall cargo opening is pretty good, 38 inches wide. And then here's where things really get good for the Kia Soul. It's the height. Because of the boxy shape, we are looking at 36 inches here at the end of the cargo area in terms of height. That is absolutely phenomenal. And then keep in mind, the seats do occupy a little bit here. So let's see, you can take about 6 inches off for this area because the seats are going to be sticking a little bit out of the floor. Now, lifting up the floor, there is also a spare tire. Well, guys, here we are behind the wheel of the 2025 Kia Soul. In this test drive, we'll be discussing quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now. We'll also be getting things like our sound level reading, but first we want to go ahead and start with a hard acceleration to show you what the powertrain is all about.
All right, and there's a quick little acceleration to start things off with this 25 Soul. Now, like we talked about the spec dump, just one powertrain with this. It's real simple. You don't have a turbocharger, nothing like that. It's just a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. 147 horsepower, 132 pound-feet of torque. Those are perfectly fine numbers for this segment of vehicle.
Yeah, it's certainly not going to knock your socks off or anything like that, but it is adequate. I definitely don't think that you'll be like always wanting for power. I would say maybe if you loaded the car down with 4 adults plus cargo, it might be a little slow on the interstate, but other than that, it's going to be perfectly fine to just get you around town. No issues whatsoever there. Kia used to offer, some turbocharged powertrains. However, as this car has gone on, they have, really reduced it down to make it more simple. So it is just the one powertrain option now. Now, as far as how the power is routed to the ground, you do have a CVT, which you might have been able to hear as we accelerated there, and it is going to be a front-wheel drive exclusive vehicle.
Yeah, one of the things I like about this CVT, and you'll see this as I take off from the stop sign here in just a second, but it does have the stepped simulation. So you don't really have like a lot of droning, which you do get from some of the rivals. So you heard go through kind of that simulation. Another thing is that, we kind of mentioned it, but it is a naturally aspirated engine. Some of the rivals have really small turbocharged engines. So for those of you who maybe are concerned about having something that could be a little bit more reliable in the long term, this might be able to fit that bill since it's not such a small engine.
Yeah, and it's just a very simple setup. Now, we're cruising along the road here, and I think now is a great time for us to go ahead and get things like our sound level reading going 55 miles per hour. So we have it on fan speed 1, and now we're going 55. 54.8 decibels, guys. I don't know. I don't know what it is with the Kia Soul, but they have some serious sound deadening in here, because we have seen this many times that we have sampled out this car. It actually has a very, very impressive sound level reading. We can compare to some of those rivals at carconfections.com/sound level readings, but I can tell you that is a very good reading. Well, as a matter of fact, we test out all of the subcompacts. There are like 14 options. Can't even forget. There's a ton of them. The Kia Soul is the reigning champion. Both the 23, 24, and now the 25 model years are the top 3 readings in this entire segment. This is the quietest subcompact you can buy. And that kind of is crazy to me, because it's also one of the most affordable ones, and it's also a very boxy shape. So you wouldn't really think this would be the quietest one, but here we are.
Today is really windy outside, too. You saw our hair blowing around when we were doing the review.
It's kind of crazy. Now, as far as your ride quality, I'm also very pleasantly surprised with this. The Kia Soul does a fantastic job of really just soaking up the bumps. Has a very smooth and comfortable ride, especially if you compare to some of the other options that might be a little bit sportier. I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised with the overall ride of this. Speaking of sporty characteristics, it's not really much of this car's mission, that's for sure. So
no, but it's not terrible. The steering, as you can see, does respond immediately as soon as you turn off center. It has a decent amount of feel, what you really expect for this segment, but obviously, like Mason was saying, there are going to be more athletic options out there.
Now let's also talk about things like your fuel economy. Now I think you're going to also be pretty pleasantly surprised with this, given its boxy shape. We are sitting at 30 miles per gallon combined for most of the versions of the Soul. Certain versions can get up to 31 mpg combined. It's kind of trim level specific, but overall that's pretty good fuel economy for not having any hybrid setup at all, and just the one engine option. So I'm pretty pleasantly surprised by that. Once more, I will just remind you that you cannot get all-wheel drive, though, so for those of you looking for other SUVs in this segment, that might be a major con for you.
Yeah, of course, Kia does make, within their own lineup, the Seltos, which is just a little bit bigger, still in the subcompact segment, and, there's really a ton of other options, but this being one of the more affordable things, they've opted not to give you all-wheel drive. But that will be today's airball, just because a lot of people are looking for all-wheel drive.
Yeah. Now, on the slam dunk side of things, what we're going to say is the overall value. Kia really continues to impress us with this package. We'll get into the pricing of this one just in a little bit, but we are sitting at barely over $27,000, and you can have this car for as little as $20,000, and it really has a ton of space and a lot of features on the base end. So if you're looking for an affordable new option, those are becoming increasingly rare, and this Kia Soul is one of the best choices. So as I said at the very beginning of the video, this vehicle can be had for a little over $20,000. $20,290 is your base price. Now, as you move up the trim structure, of course, it elevates. We actually have the top end trim level. That is the EX model. And we also have a few options, including the Soulmate Special Edition package, as well as a few accessories. $1,375 destination. We are sitting at $27,700 for this model, and this is pretty much fully loaded out. A GT line with some options can top out a little bit more than this, but it's still under $30,000. Now, if you're looking to buy a Kia Soul or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation and can help the dealers to start competing on price. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. But buying a vehicle is about more than just the original MSRP, so let's dive into resale and reliability. First up, let's talk about resale value. As an economics graduate myself, Drew and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Kia Soul's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, it'll be worth 49% of original MSRP, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 21.1%. Now, it's worth noting that is a very on par with average resale value percentage. The industry average is right around that 49% mark. However, it is going to be less than other brands such as Toyota, Honda, Mazda, and Subaru that you may be cross-shopping with.
Now, we've also done the same for reliability by developing the Combined Reliability Index. This takes into account several studies on reliability from trustworthy sources and combines them in a way that gives you a more holistic picture and has been updated to the latest 2025 data. In this regard, Kia is above the overall industry average for all vehicle makes.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our resale values, reliability data, or our methodology, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a new vehicle is a very big decision, and you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. Lastly, this Kia is protected by a long warranty, 5 years, 60,000 miles basic, 10-year, 100,000 miles powertrain. Kia does not do complimentary maintenance, though. Well, guys, that's going to be it for our in-depth review of the 2025 Kia Soul. If you enjoyed watching this video or found helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of fun on this channel, and I promise you won't want to miss out. If you're already part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.